Welcome to today's Lost Souls, where we bring you the most impactful and unforgettable stories from around the world. Today, we remember the lives of remarkable individuals whose legacies continue to inspire and resonate. From iconic musicians to trailblazing activists, join us as we celebrate their extraordinary contributions and bid farewell to those who have left an indelible mark on our lives. Stay tuned for a journey through their incredible stories.
Luther Vandross. Luther Vandross, the legendary American soul and R&B singer, known for his velvety voice and timeless hits such as Dance with My Father and Here and Now, passed away on July 1, 2005 at the age of 54. His death followed a prolonged battle with multiple serious health issues, including diabetes, hypertension, and complications from a severe stroke he suffered in April 2003. Born on April 20, 1951, in New York City, Vandross grew up in a public housing project on Manhattan's Lower East Side. Encouraged by his widowed mother, he pursued music from an early age, starting his career singing background vocals and writing songs for other artists. His breakthrough came with his 1981 debut solo album, Never Too Much, which featured the title track that became an instant R&B classic. Throughout the 1980s and 1990s, Vandross became one of the most celebrated vocalists of his generation, known for his smooth tenor and emotive delivery. He won 8 Grammy Awards, including Song of the Year in 2004 for Dance with My Father, a poignant tribute to his late father. His albums sold over 25 million copies worldwide, and his music provided the romantic soundtrack for millions. However, Vandross's health was a constant concern. He struggled with type 2 diabetes, a condition that ran in his family and contributed to his weight fluctuations and hypertension. On April 16, 2003, he suffered a massive stroke at his Manhattan home, which left him in a coma for nearly 2 months. The stroke severely impaired his ability to speak and sing, and he required a wheelchair and a tracheotomy during his recovery. Though he made some progress, he never fully regained his former health or vocal ability. Despite these challenges, Vandross remained connected to his fans. In 2004, he appeared in a pre-recorded video at the Grammy Awards to accept his Song of the Year award, delivering a heartfelt message before softly singing the closing lines of his hit. His last public appearance was on The Oprah Winfrey Show in May 2004, where he raised awareness about diabetes and stroke prevention. Luther Vandross passed away at the John F. Kennedy Medical Center in Edison, New Jersey, from a heart attack related to his ongoing health struggles. His funeral, held at Riverside Church in New York City, was attended by music legends including Aretha Franklin, Stevie Wonder, and Patti LaBelle. Reflecting the profound impact he had on the music community, Vandross's legacy endures as one of the greatest voices in R&B history, remembered for his soulful ballads, impeccable phrasing, and the emotional depth he brought to his music. His life story also serves as a powerful reminder of the importance of health awareness, particularly regarding diabetes and stroke. Hugh John. Angie Stone. Angela Laverne Stone, professionally known as Angie Stone, was a pioneering American singer-songwriter, rapper, actress, and record producer who passed away tragically in a car accident near Montgomery, Alabama, on March 1, 2025, at the age of 63. Stone's career spanned over 4 decades, during which she revolutionized hip-hop and neo-soul music, becoming one of the most influential voices in modern R&B. Stone first rose to fame in 1979 as Angie B., a member of The Sequence, one of the first all-female hip-hop groups that helped lay the foundation for women in rap music. In the early 1990s, she was part of the R&B group Vertical Hold, before launching a successful solo career in the late 1990s. Her debut solo album, Black Diamond, 1999, was certified gold and featured the hit single No More Rain in This Cloud, which topped the adult R&B airplay chart for 10 weeks. Her follow-up album, Mahogany Soul, 2001, also certified gold, included the enduring hit Wish I Didn't Miss You, which remains a neo-soul anthem. Angie Stone was a key figure in the neo-soul movement, alongside artists like Erykah Badu, Lauryn Hill, and Macy Gray. Her rich alto voice, combined with her ability to blend classic soul with contemporary R&B, hip-hop, and jazz, earned her 3 Grammy nominations and multiple Soul Train Music Awards. She was also inducted into the Women Songwriters Hall of Fame in 2024, recognizing her lasting impact on music. In addition to her music career, Stone ventured into acting, appearing in films such as The Hot Chick 2002 and The Fighting Temptations 2003, as well as TV shows and musical productions. She was known for her authenticity, resilience, and dedication to uplifting her community through her art. The fatal accident occurred while Stone and her band were traveling in a van after a Mardi Gras concert in Mobile, Alabama. The vehicle overturned on Interstate 65 and was struck by a semi-trailer truck. Stone was the only fatality in the crash. Her passing shocked fans and the music industry, with many mourning the loss of a soulful artist whose voice and spirit touched millions. Angie Stone is survived by her children and a legacy of groundbreaking music that continues to inspire artists and fans worldwide. Her profound influence on hip-hop and neo-soul ensures that her contributions will be remembered for generations. Joan Plowright. Dame Joan Plowright, one of Britain's most esteemed stage and screen actresses, and the widow of Sir Laurence Olivier, passed away peacefully on January 16, 2025, at Denville Hall, a retirement home for actors, in London, surrounded by her family. Her illustrious career spanned over 7 decades, during which she earned widespread acclaim for her versatility, depth, and dedication to her craft. Born Joan Ann Plowright on October 28, 1929, in Brigg, Lincolnshire, England, she trained at the Old Vic Theatre School before making her stage debut in 1948. Plowright quickly rose to prominence in London's West End and became a leading figure at the National Theatre, which her husband, Sir Laurence Olivier, founded. The couple met while starring opposite each other in John Osborne's The Entertainer and married in 1961, forming one of the most celebrated theatrical partnerships in history. Plowright's stage work was vast and varied, including powerful performances in classics such as Chekhov's The Seagull, Shakespeare's Much Ado About Nothing, and The Merchant of Venice, George Bernard Shaw's St. Joan and Major Barbara, and avant-garde plays like Eugene Ionesco's The Chairs. She was part of a generation of British actors that included Albert Finney, Alan Bates, Anthony Hopkins, Judi Dench, and Maggie Smith. She earned an Academy Award nomination and won a Golden Globe for Best Supporting Actress for her role in Enchanted, April 1991. Other notable films included The Entertainer, 1960, Equus, 1977, Tea with Mussolini, 1999, and Dennis the Menace, 1993. On television, she won a Golden Globe for her performance in the HBO film Stalin, 1992, and was nominated for a Primetime Emmy Award in 2004. Plowright was honored with the title of Dame by Queen Elizabeth II in recognition of her outstanding contribution to drama. She retired from acting in 2014 due to macular degeneration, which left her legally blind, but remained a beloved figure in the acting community. She appeared in the 2018 documentary Nothing Like a Dame, alongside fellow acting legends Judi Dench, Maggie Smith, and Eileen Atkins, showcasing her wit and charm even in later years. Her family described her as a loving and deeply inclusive human being who faced life's challenges with courage and grace. She spent her final years in Sussex, surrounded by friends and family, filled with laughter and fond memories. Joan Plowright's passing marks the loss of a true icon of British theatre and film. Her legacy endures through her extraordinary body of work and the generations of actors she inspired. Loretta Swit. Loretta Swit, the Emmy Award-winning actress best known for her iconic role as Major Margaret Hot Lips Houlihan on the groundbreaking television series MASH*, passed away peacefully on May 30, 2025, at her home in New York City. She was 87 years old. Her publicist confirmed that she likely died of natural causes. Swit's portrayal of Major Houlihan, the strong-willed and complex head nurse at the 4077th Mobile Army Surgical Hospital during the Korean War, became a defining role in television history. The series, which aired from 1972 to 1983, was a critical and popular success, blending sharp comedy with poignant commentary on war, human nature, and social issues. Swit's character, initially known for her strict military demeanor and romantic entanglement with Major Frank Burns, evolved into a more nuanced and sympathetic figure over the show's 11 seasons. Her performance earned her 10 consecutive Emmy nominations for Outstanding Supporting Actress in a Comedy Series, winning twice in 1980 and 1982. Alongside Alan Alda, she was one of the few cast members to appear in both the pilot episode and the record-breaking series finale, which drew over 106 million viewers, making it the most-watched scripted television episode in U.S. history. Born Loretta Jane Schwed on November 4, 1937. In Passaic, New Jersey, Swit began her career in theater and gradually transitioned to television and film. Beyond MASH*, she appeared in over 25 movies and numerous television shows, including portraying Christine Cagney in the TV movie Cagney and Lacey. She also showcased her talents on Broadway in productions such as Same Time Next Year and Shirley. Valentine Swit was admired not only for her acting skills but also for her dedication to portraying strong, multidimensional female characters. She often spoke about the importance of acting as a means of expressing real human emotions and experiences. Emphasizing authenticity in her craft, her legacy endures through her unforgettable performances and her contribution to one of television's most beloved and socially impactful series. Loretta Swit leaves behind a lasting influence on the entertainment industry and a generation of fans who cherished her work. Hugh Grant. Hugh Grant, the beloved English actor renowned for his wit, charm, and versatility, passed away at the age of 64, best known for his roles in romantic comedies and acclaimed dramas. Grant's career spanned over 4 decades, leaving an indelible mark on British and international cinema. Born Hugh John Mungo Grant on September 9, 1960, in Hammersmith, London, he was raised in a family that valued education, with his mother working as a schoolteacher and his father as an artist and carpet salesman. Grant attended New College, Oxford, where he developed a passion for acting and literature, ultimately choosing to pursue a career in the performing arts over academia. Grant's early career was marked by a series of well-received period dramas, including Morris 1987, which earned him the Volpe Cup for Best Actor, and The Remains of the Day 1993. However, it was his breakout role as Charles in 4 Weddings and a Funeral 1994 that catapulted him to international stardom. The film's massive success earned him both a Golden Globe and a BAFTA Award for Best Actor, and established him as the quintessential romantic lead of his generation. Throughout the late 1990s and early 2000s, Grant became synonymous with the British romantic comedy, starring in hits such as Notting Hill 1999, Bridget Jones's Diary 2001 and its sequels About a Boy 2002, Love Actually 2003, and Music and Lyrics 2007. His performances were characterized by a unique blend of vulnerability, humor, and self-deprecation, endearing him to audiences worldwide. As his career progressed, Grant transitioned into more complex character roles, earning critical praise for his performances in films like Florence Foster Jenkins 2016, Paddington 2 2017, and The Gentleman 2019. His ability to reinvent himself as a character actor in his later years demonstrated both his range and his enduring appeal. He was nominated for multiple awards throughout his career, including 15 Emmy nominations, and received an honorary Caesar in Arlene Ling Liu off-screen. Grant was known for his sharp intellect, dry humor, and advocacy for privacy rights, particularly in the wake of the phone hacking scandal that affected numerous public figures. He was also recognized for his philanthropy and support of various charitable causes. Grant's personal life was often the subject of media attention, but he remained fiercely protective of his family. He married Anna Eberstein in 2018, and together, they raised their children in London. Friends and colleagues described him as witty, generous, and deeply committed to his craft. Hugh Grant's passing marks the end of an era for British cinema. His legacy lives on through the unforgettable characters he brought to life and the countless fans he inspired. His films continue to bring joy, laughter, and comfort to audiences around the world, ensuring that his influence will endure for generations to come. Denzel Hayes Washington Jr. entered the world on December 28, 1954, in Mount Vernon, New York, inside a home defined by both discipline and joyful expression. His mother, Lenny's, owned a beauty salon that doubled as a vibrant social hub, filling his childhood with stories, laughter, and cautionary tales from clients who trusted her chair. His father, the Reverend Denzel Washington, Sr., balanced trucking work with the pulpit, preaching fiery sermons that echoed through local sanctuaries. These two influences, entrepreneurial warmth and spiritual rigor, crafted a balanced blueprint for their son's character. Between Saturday lessons at the Boys and Girls Club and Sunday marathons of hymns, the boy learned rhythm, rhetoric, and responsibility. Seeds that would later bloom on stage and screen. Much Mount Vernon in the 1960s pulsed with cultural ferment and hidden hazards, offering Washington contrasting lessons in opportunity and adversity. Neighborhood streets brimmed with block parties, dynamic music, and pick-up basketball games. Yet temptations also lurked in corners where hope ran thin. Lenny's, recognizing the shifting tides of adolescence, enrolled her son at Oakland Military Academy in neighboring New Windsor when he was 14. The strict regimen awakened his focus, cementing daily habits of punctuality, precision, and self-reflection that would shadow him for decades. He volunteered at a Salvation Army shop, stacking clothes and soaking up wisdom from elders. Hours in the library yielded biographies of Jackie Robinson and Sidney Poitier, proof that greatness can rise from streets on following military school. Washington attended Mainland High in Daytona Beach, Florida, after his parents' marriage dissolved, introducing a new landscape of sun, surf, and Southern manners. Even amid emotional turbulence, he flourished academically and athletically, lettering in basketball, while dabbling in student council and performing arts clubs. Mentors noticed a magnetic confidence whenever he addressed classrooms or narrated morning announcements. Encouraged, Denzel pursued journalism at Fordham University, only to discover acting during an elective drama course that electrified his imagination. The Florida chapter sharpened his sense of justice amid local racial tensions. After classes, he flipped burgers at a snack bar, saving coins that would buy bus tickets, audition sheets, and modest acting lessons for stage gigs as grit grew firm, and faith to hone the craft. Washington immersed himself in the Lincoln Center campus theater scene, oscillating between classroom theory and nightly rehearsals that stretched past midnight. Summers brought formative experiences at the Berkshire Playhouse, where repertory schedules demanded rapid memorization and emotional range. Each production added subtle layers to his toolkit: vocal modulation, physical economy, and the courage to inhabit contradiction. Financial realities meant juggling work as a creative arts counselor at summer camps for children of New York's working class, teaching improvisation while refining his own instincts. He worked late at a corner deli to pay tuition for actor workshops where veterans examined Shakespeare, August Wilson, and Lorraine Hansberry scene by scene. Balancing the razor and the script, he developed disciplined breath control and unbreakable memorization habits that would anchor future triumphs. By the time Washington graduated from Fordham in 1977 with a Bachelor of Arts in Drama and Journalism, the roadmap was clear. Los Angeles beckoned with promises of screen work, while New York kept its arms open through burgeoning off-Broadway stages. A pivotal scholarship to the American Conservatory Theater in San Francisco followed, sharpening his interpretive instincts under master teachers who pressed him to mind text for moral complexity. Although he chose to leave the program after one year to chase professional opportunities, the discipline, diction, and analytical rigor it instilled never left him. The scholarship to the American Conservatory Theater immersed him in movement classes, voice drills, and table reads with peers, who would later headline Broadway. Although he left after one intensive year, the experience affirmed his philosophy: craft is lived inquiry, not mere performance. Television proved the first launchpad. In 1982, Washington stepped onto NBC's medical drama St. Elsewhere as Dr. Philip Chandler, instantly anchoring the ensemble with a cool intellect that viewers trusted as much as the fictional patients did. 96 episodes later, his stethoscope became a passport to cinema. The tense legal thriller, A Soldier's Story, 1984, and Power, 1986, showcased a protean ability to hold the camera, even when veteran actors shared the frame. Opportunity then collided with destiny in Richard Attenborough's anti-apartheid epic Cry. Freedom 1987, where Washington's measured portrait of activist Steve Beau earned an Academy Award nomination, and global headlines. Momentum surged in 1989's Glory. As Private Trip, his silent tears beneath a flogging scar crystallized the human price of war and secured his first Oscar. Each role amplified the notion that discipline for Mount Vernon had evolved into an on-screen force capable of commanding filmgoers' empathy. Within seconds, throughout the 1990s, Washington's sprint up Hollywood's summit became a marathon of genre-defining performances. In Malcolm X 1992, he carried 3 hours of screen time with tonal shifts as smooth as jazz, mapping the civil rights leader journey from hustler to orator with forensic authenticity. The performance crept into cultural consciousness, influencing classroom lesson plans and barbershop debates alike. Thrillers such as Crimson Tide, 1995, and The Pelican Brief, 1993, showcased a strategic cadence. Stoic pauses, surgically timed bursts of dialogue that audiences perceived as both intellectually thrilling and viscerally reassuring. When he embodied boxer Reuben Hurricane Carter in the Hurricane 1999, critics again predicted Oscar gold. Though the statue eluded him, the portrayal fortified his status as Hollywood's moral compass. 2 years later, Training Day 2001 shattered that compass, recasting him as rogue cop Alonzo Harris and earning his second Academy Award while proving that charisma, when twisted, could freeze blood as effectively as it once inspired. The new millennium widened his portfolio without softening its edge. Man on Fire 2004 fused lethal precision and paternal tenderness, cementing an archetype replicated in countless action scripts thereafter. Inside Man 2006, he matched wits with Clive Owen's Master Thief, threading humor through suspense like a needle sewing silk. Ridley Scott's American Gangster, 2007, invited him to straddle glamour and menace as drug kingpin Frank Lucas, while Flight 2012 displayed raw vulnerability inside the cockpit of addiction. Behind the camera, he translated August Wilson's stage powerhouse into 2016's cinematic Fences, guiding Viola Davis to Oscar victory and earning his own nomination for Best Actor and Best Picture. Recent years delivered the Kinetic Trilogy, Capstone, The Equalizer 3, 2023, and saw him executive produce projects that spotlight underrepresented voices, extending influence beyond the spotlight. Denzel Washington's commitment to wellness germinated long before red carpet flashes or Oscar ovations, taking root in the whistle-pierced drills of military school and the balanced plate philosophy of a salon-owning mother who rationed vegetables with the same precision she dispensed life advice. He remembers sprinting laps around an ice-rimmed Mount Vernon track at dawn, breath steaming, while he recited scripture to sharpen mind alongside muscle. That teenage ritual matured into an unshakable daybreak program that still begins at 4:30 a.m. with dynamic stretches, a cup of lemon water, and silent gratitude. Friends joke that hotel gyms adjust their thermostats when they see his name on the booking sheet, knowing the elliptical will were before sunrise. The regimen, equal parts apply metrics, core work, and meditative prayer fused discipline and spirituality so tightly that skipping either feels to him like leaving the house. Without shoes, row preparation has often pushed that baseline fitness into extreme territories. For Malcolm X, he dropped 12 pounds through boxing circuits and intermittent fasting modeled on Nation of Islam guidelines. To play Reuben Carter in The Hurricane, he reversed course, sparring 6 rounds daily to pack lean muscle onto a middleweight frame. These swings flirted with injury. An aggravated patella tendon during Remember the Titans required arthroscopic cleanup, while shoulder bursitis from repetitive weapons drills unsafe. House sent him into cryotherapy tanks. Refusing to postpone shoots, he learned to ice between takes, incorporate Pilates for stabilizer strength, and decompress in hyperbaric chambers that accelerate recovery. Even downtime includes movement. Golf rounds scored like walking meditations and ocean swims that double as lung capacity drills because he believes consistency, not intensity, is the true guardian of longevity. Entering his 50s, Genetics demanded fresh vigilance when a routine, physical flagged borderline hypertension. The same silent foe that once shadowed his father. Washington swapped heavy sodium for Mediterranean flavors, juiced beets for vascular elasticity, and enlisted performance coach Gunnar Peterson to engineer heart rate interval sessions that preserved his trademark on-screen explosiveness without spiking blood pressure. Sleep became a sacred frontier. Blackout curtains, phone-free evenings, and paced breathing via a metronome app reclaimed REM cycles lost to late-night shoots. Quarterly check-ins with cardiologists now sit on the calendar alongside premiers, and he treats the spreadsheet of lab results with the same reverence he grants a fresh shooting script. The payoff surfaced visibly in The Equalizer 3, a 70-year-old warrior moving with the sure-footed cadence of a prizefighter 15 years younger. Mental and emotional resilience command equal footing in his wellness doctrine. Washington depressurizes after morally complex characters by journaling, attending church retreats, and taking headphone-free walks with wife Peta, where conversation drifts toward jazz chords, grandchildren, and scripture rather than box office tallies. After wrapping training day, he spent a week volunteering at an inner-city youth camp, purging residual aggression by coaching basketball fundamentals and leading evening prayer circles. Friends note, his faith operates like an immune system for the psyche, neutralizing the toxins of fame before they metastasize into anxiety. He openly discusses therapy sessions that equipped him to navigate grief after losing his mother in 2021, emphasizing that emotional checkups deserve the same normalization as dental cleanings. Vulnerability, he reasons, is armor when worn with intention. Today, he channels hard-won lessons into public health advocacy that marries storytelling with tangible impact. Partnering with Mount Vernon Hospital, he bankrolls annual prostate cancer screenings for underserved neighborhoods, citing the disease's disproportionate toll on African American men. Pandemic years saw him donate 100,000 medical masks to first responders, fund Peloton bikes for boys and girls clubs, and film a digital miniseries encouraging creative arts students to practice mindfulness against burnout. He recently endowed a cardiovascular research fellowship at UCLA and appears in national PSAs reminding Black fathers to schedule colonoscopies before age 50. As he approaches the milestone of 71, Washington frames longevity not as an individual accolade, but as shared stewardship. Your gift, he tells audiences, isn't the years you add to your life, but the life you add to everyone's years. The first major tremor in Washington's private life struck on August 14, 1991, when his father, Reverend Denzel Washington, Sr., succumbed to complications from a cerebrovascular stroke at just 62. Though their relationship had been loving yet stern, punctuated by sermons about destiny and duty, the sudden silence of that booming voice rattled the actor's emotional foundation. During press tours for Ricochet, he compartmentalized grief behind confident smiles, but hotel Bibles lay open to Psalms each night as he reread verses his father once thundered from the pulpit. The funeral in Mount Vernon blended gospel choirs with motorcade sirens, and as he helped lower the casket, Denzel vowed that every future role would honor the pastor's insistence on service through storytelling. He later endowed scholarships at Forum in his father's memory, shaping a legacy that converts sorrow into opportunity for students who, like him, seek purpose at artistic crossroads. Losing colleagues who felt like family carved additional fissures. In 2009, co-star and friend Michael Clark Duncan died from heart failure, confronting Washington with the fragility of the larger-than-life personas Hollywood erects 3 years later. Director Tony Scott, who guided him through Crimson Tide, Man on Fire, and Gia-Vu passed away, and the set of Two Guns paused so he could fly to Los Angeles for a private memorial. Inside the chapel, he replayed every take, every shouted action that had elevated him from actor to cinematic force. That same summer, Whitney Houston's funeral echoed across Newark. Her voice had filled his house through his daughter's stereo, making her death feel like the extinguishing of a star in the family sky. At each memorial, he delivered unpublicized donations, underwriting youth choirs, vocational programs, or substance abuse counseling in the deceased hometowns. Quiet gestures, mapping grief onto healing. Washington Circle felt another blow in August 2020 when actor Chadwick Boseman died after a private battle with cancer. Boseman had thanked Denzel publicly for funding the acting program that launched his career, forging a mentor-protege bond. News of his passing reached Washington on the set of The Little Things, where the crew observed a minute of silence as he steadied his breath. Realizing the baton he once handed forward now returned as sacred responsibility. He reread letters from Boseman, describing the value of opportunity, and inspired doubled his commitment to producing projects that amplify fresh Black talent. Each loss, he notes, expands the heart's square footage, allowing more empathy to move in even as pain takes up residence. Personal tragedy pierced deepest in June 2021 with the passing of his mother. Lenny's, at 97. The woman, who once shaped young Mount Vernon Grossop into life lessons, departed peacefully. Yet her absence rewired his mornings. No phone call at dawn to ask if he'd said his prayers and drunk his water. Washington retreated to their childhood home for a week, strolling the block where she once braided neighborhood kids' hair, breathing in the faint scent of lacquered salon chairs. At the funeral, he spoke of her laughter, ringing like a bell over missteps he made, and her insistence that love, not applause, measures a life. Months later, he endowed a beauty arts program in her honor, gifting salon kits to single mothers seeking new careers. Morning remains a daily practice. He lights a candle before sunrise workouts. But each flame also signals gratitude for the guidance those departed still provide. Denzel Washington stands today at the intersection of legacy and perpetual motion, steering his seventh decade with a vigor that would humble men half his age. From his hilltop residence in Los Angeles, he splits the calendar between acting residencies, directing assignments, and philanthropic board meetings, balancing each role with the metronomic rhythm he learned in military school. Mornings begin in the home gym where gospel harmonies echo off free weight racks, segueing into a breakfast round with wife Peta, where daily schedules read like battle plans. By mid-morning, he is blocking scenes for a new courtroom thriller or conferencing with literary agents to secure rights for the next August Wilson adaptation. Afternoons disappear inside soundstages as he mentors rising actors, offering melodic notes on line delivery, the way a jazz elder passes riffs. Evenings close with extended family dinners and FaceTime prayer circles that keep far-flung grandchildren tethered to ancestral wisdom. Behind the camera, Washington's influence has evolved from performer to architect, leveraging Monday entertainment as a launchpad for fresh voices. The current slate features a limited series on Thud Marshall's Supreme Court years, a docuseries chronicling historically Black colleges, and a faith-infused thriller penned by a first-time screenwriter from Harlem. Pitches arrive in 15-minute bursts, his elevator rule, and must marry commercial traction with moral gravity. Risk is shared through alliances with Netflix, Apple TV+, and Broadway investors who trust his record for delivering both critical and audience dividends. He stays hands, dropping into editing bays to quiz a cut or pulling producers aside to ensure set caterers reflect dietary. Crew members say a single Washington visit can elevate morale for days. The effect, like a pep talk, delivered through Shakespearean cadence and barbershop humor. Education anchors his public mission. The Denzel Washington Endowed Chair at Forum funds Fulbright scholarships for underrepresented drama students, covering tuition plus travel to auditions in New York and London. Each spring, he conducts a masterclass on text analysis, financial literacy for freelancers, and spiritual hygiene to outlast rejection. Mirror programs at WI College, Baylor University, and Boys and Girls Clubs blend arts instruction with nutrition and mindfulness. During lockdowns, he converted a spare bedroom into a 4,000 studio, streaming lessons that juxtaposed Shakespearean meter with hip-hop cadence to show rhythmic cousinship. Registrations fill within minutes, proving digital rooms overflow when generosity and credibility share a link. Faith remains his compass. Twice weekly, he hosts a virtual devotional called Table of 12, gathering pastors, formerly incarcerated fathers, and teenage poets to unpack scripture alongside community budget spreadsheets. Assignments range from covering a neighbor's utility bill to staffing vaccination drives. Sundays find him rotating between the Church of God in Christ and unannounced visits to storefront congregations in South Central, slipping into back pews. To avoid distraction, when recognized, he deflects spotlights onto local initiatives, food pantries, coding boot camps, voter registration buses, arguing that celebrity should illuminate issues, not eclipse them. No press releases follow. For Washington, anonymity is the final luxury. The future reads less like a countdown to retirement and more like a blueprint for Renaissance. Production on Journal for Jordan. 2 starts next spring with son John David, Washington directing, and the patriarch serving as executive producer and occasional acting coach. Pre-production has begun on a stage revival of Wilson's King Hedley, slated for a 2027 Broadway opening before an eventual film. Talks are underway to extend the Equalizer franchise into a limited series that hands its mantle to a young female. Led, a narrative he feels mirrors legacy passing in life. Personal targets include mastering conversational Italian, dropping his golf handicap to single digits, and compiling his mother's parables into a hardcover he aims to publish by age 75. For Denzel Washington, legacy is best written in the present tense. Inside rehearsal rooms, Washington behaves like a field general mapping terrain, dissecting each line's topography with a mechanical pencil that changes colors for subtext, pace, and pivot. He demands the first full read-through be done on feet, not around a table, believing muscle memory files emotion deeper than intellect. When newcomers freeze, he jogs scenes in slow motion to break tension, then rewinds to full tempo so adrenaline meets accuracy. Cameras roll only after he walks every set corner, testing echo, sightlines, and lighting angles as if tasting the air before battle. Between takes, he hovers by monitors, replaying footage at half speed to analyze microtic and eye movement the audience will register subconsciously. Lunch breaks turn into storytelling clinics. He recounts tales of Pua's patience, Scott's precision, Bozeman's bravery, each anecdote ending with a question that forces peers to identify their own governing principle. By wrap, crew members leave, not just with footage, but with a personalized manifesto on discipline, service, and narrative responsibility. Award shelves that line Washington's home office resemble a chronological mural of excellence. Each statue, a waypoint on a map of cinematic history. 2 Academy Awards gleam beside 3 Golden Globes, a Tony, the Cecilab, the Lifetime Achievement Honor, an American Film Institute accolade, and the Presidential Medal of Freedom. He received in 2022 for amplifying stories that expand civic empathy. Plaques from the NAACP, SAG and Directors Guild, flank-framed stills from Malcolm X, Training Day and Fences, while a weathered clapperboard from St. Elsewhere hangs as a talisman of beginnings. He catalogues each trophy's backstory for visitors. The thunderous ovation when he became only the 2nd Black Best Actor winner, the backstage embrace with Viola Davis as their Broadway transfer broke box office records. The text from Sidney Poitier that read simply, "Well done, soldier." Yet he insists, the true prize is the ripple effect. Scholarships funded, neuroborehoods revitalized, generations emboldened to imagine themselves inside stories once closed to them. Family remains Washington's favorite production. A daily saga, Curitan with Peta, that premiered in 1983 and still commands full-season pickups. There for children, John, David, Katia, and twins, Malcolm and Olivia, populate Thanksgiving tables with laughter reminiscent of Mount Vernon salons, debating sports contracts, editing notes, and biblical passages over Pettis, okra, gumbo John. David's ascent from NFL aspirant to blockbuster led delights rather than eclipses. Father and son trade script pages like seasoned point guards, tossing no-look passes. Katia steers projects. Behind the camera, Malcolm directs music videos, and Olivia toggles between stage roles and graduate studies. A constellation whose orbits sometimes intersect on set, yet always converge at Sunday dinners. Washington treats grandparenting as his next starring role, practicing lullaby cadences between takes and sneaking life lessons into bedtime stories. He calls the clan his human mirror, reflecting the values he strives to project: discipline, curiosity, faith, while reminding him that legacy, like film, gains depth only when shared across generations. Philanthropy for Washington is neither side quest nor resume ornament. It is the narrative spine threading every public accolade. Since 1995, his family foundation has quietly funneled tens of millions into literacy drives, foster care arts programs, and disaster relief grants. Operating on the maxim that anonymity preserves dignity, he funds full STEM labs at crumbling inner-city schools and endows debate teams in rural counties. Believing critical thinking tames violence more surely than curfews, annual visits to wounded veterans' hospitals remain deliberately unpublicized. Yet each bedside conversation later informs combat roles with granular authenticity. Partnering with Boys and Girls Clubs of America, he sponsors national storytelling contests where winners see their scripts professionally filmed, seeding both confidence and industry pipelines. During the pandemic, he converted a soundstage into a PPE depot, coordinating shipments to understaffed clinics while filming nightly morale videos for frontline workers. For Washington, giving is best done off-camera, even though its echoes inevitably return on screen. Denzel Washington's mentorship engine operates like an incubator strapped to a rocket, fusing hands-on apprenticeships with real-world stakes so emerging artists discover their voice at supersonic speed. He routinely invites 24 unknown actors, editors, and gaffers onto active sets, rotates them through every department in week-long sprints, and finishes with a pressure cooker challenge. Design, light, shoot, and cut a 2-minute scene overnight using only repurposed props. Washington hovers as a silent foreman, jotting frame timings on yellow legal pads, intervening only to pose catalytic questions. What danger hides in this shadow? Or, where's the rhythm that pulls me forward, then vanishes? So, ownership stays. With the rookies, completed clips play on a sunrise projector beside breakfast burritos, and he dissects each take with laser precision, praising a lens choice before flagging a fraction-second hesitation that dulled narrative velocity. Graduates exit with tangible footage, union referrals, and a credo etched by experience. Excellence is not an accident, it's the residue of relentless curiosity. When Washington selects a script, he applies a triosis metric: message, momentum, and moral weight, scrutinizing each page like a seasoned crafter charting untamed territory. He spreads scenes across a conference table, looking for the pulse line that beats from inciting incident to final frame. If that current ever flatlines, the project joins a growing stack of almosts in his archive. Next, he color codes dialogue to trace limmatic arteries: red for justice, blue for redemption, green for deceit, testing whether every character's voice carries a purposeful tension. Only after the narrative grid passes stress tests does he investigate the moral cargo. What conversation will this film ignite in barbershops, classrooms, church basement? His assistants note he rejects more roles in a month than most actors read in a year. Yet that filtration yields a resume where each title behaves like a chess move advancing cultural discourse. He insists cinema must entertain first, enlighten second, and ultimately empower. Any script that cannot satisfy all three pillars never leaves his reading lamp. Beyond the applause and crimson carpets, Washington curates an empire engineered for stability rather than spectacle, structuring investments like scenes in a screenplay, each entry playing a precise role in the larger narrative of generational security. Monday Lane Entertainment functions as mission control, funneling profits from box office hits into a diversified lattice of real estate partnerships, renewable energy bonds, and Mannery Town tech startups whose founders mirror the hungry perseverance of young Mount Vernon. Hustlers chasing a first break, quarterly meetings resemble film dailies, spreadsheets projected onto a white wall. Advisors dissecting cash flows with the same forensic attention he once reserved for line readings. He favors apartment revitalizations in historically black neighborhoods, arguing that safe housing provides the foundational set where life's most pivotal scenes unfold. Royalty income from perpetual streaming deals, negotiated to include back-end points and producer credits, feeds college fund trusts for grandchildren and seed capital for emerging filmmakers graduating from his mentorship cohort. Financial discipline echoes childhood chores. Every dollar, like every dialogue beat, must justify its presence or face the cutting room floor. Legacy for Denzel Washington remains an ever-expanding storyboard. One he refines as daily through disciplined artistry, principled finance, and steadfast service, ensuring each new shot enriches the reel he will eventually hand to posterity. His journey from Mount Vernon sermon pews to global cinematic limelight demonstrates how structure and spirit can merge into an engine that propels individual excellence while lifting entire communities in its wake. Every accolade, mentorship, investment, and philanthropic initiative flows back into the same thematic river. Empower the next voice, narrate the next truth, secure the next foundation. As cameras roll on forthcoming projects and classrooms echo with lessons traced to his scholarships, Washington's present tense continues writing tomorrow's reference points, proof that a life directed by purpose can transform screens, streets, and souls long after the final credits fade.